Hey there, Marina here, Let It Go Laugh and Leap Forward. Today I gave a casual intro to FasterEFT talk at a local bookstore. I had 9 participants, 3 of which already knew about EFT but have never heard of FasterEFT. So it was a really great talk for me because they were asking questions about the differences, and again, it was really casual and I really enjoyed it, and I was very relaxed. Kind of let it flow, and I wanted to share the talk with you, see if you get anything out of it. But it is basics, it is very much FasterEFT 101. My video camera shut off, so I could only record half of my talk. Just as I was getting funny and getting laughs out of people, it stopped. So that's all I've got. I recorded it for me to see how I do, see where to improve. And of course there's always room for improvement, but I enjoyed myself, and my biggest focus and intention for this talk was to just get the knowledge out there that there is this really simple tool and there's a lot of support online to use it, and just get it out there. And I think I accomplished that. People gave me good feedback at the end. They were enjoying the talk, and all the EFTers were very excited about it. Noticing immediately how much simpler it was, easier to use. So, yay! Come a long way, because last year, actually about a year ago, almost a year ago, I gave my very first talk here at a Unitarian church, and it did not go quite as relaxed. So I do feel like a sense of accomplishment, especially in that I really wasn't nervous. I was very excited to share. So I'm very happy today, and I wanted to share that with you too. Feel free to give me feedback, comments, anything at all, questions. I'd love to hear it all. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night. Bye. Welcome. Thank you for being here and coming and seeing what this is all about. My name is Marina Bajszar. I'm a FasterEFT practitioner. My passion is sharing this tool with you. And anyone will listen, anyone who's interested, because I just love it so much. It's so practical, simple to use, and you can take it home with you. I'm going to go over an overview of it today, kind of an introduction that's kind of more broad than we can get into more details. But if you have any questions, if nothing makes sense or I'm not speaking clearly, please just ask away. It's nice to have it interactive. I don't want to lecture at you, and if you feel like, stop, I don't get it, just let me know, or can you explain that further? So I was saying before that EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique.
Yep. Thanks.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So I'd studied this for a while. I knew about EFT for about 4 years, but I put it aside. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. I don't know if you've heard of, some of you have heard of tapping. And I saw a few videos online about it, and I put it aside. Like, there's something here, but it seemed a little bit tedious to me and long-winded in how you use it by yourself with some affirmations, and you're tapping a lot of different points on your body. And so I just kind of set it aside. And then about a year later, someone sent me a video to FasterEFT, and this man, he has this strong Oklahoma accent, and he starts talking, and I tried his technique, and I'll show you very soon what it is. And it just immediately lifted me. I was sitting in my living room, I was really depressed, and immediately some shift happened, and I was just laughing, like, how is this possible? So the technique is very simple in terms of what you do, and so I'll just show you right away. What you do is you focus on your problem, whatever it is, and how do you know you have a problem? You feel it somewhere in your body, or you might see a picture in your mind, or you hear someone, like there's sounds that someone says something to you and you're reacting. But mostly it's some kind of reference, some kind of perception, and then you feel it. So you focus on not what the problem is, but how do you know you have a problem? Feel it in the chest, or wherever you feel it. Right? A lot of people feel it here, some in the shoulder. Some people are angry just in their head. Everybody does it differently, however we learned it through time. So first you aim, we call it aiming. You aim at that internal reaction in your body, And then you just do this. There's 4 points you tap on in between your eyes. Just gently tapping. You can follow me too if you want to try. And we'll do it in a second when we'll do it for real. Under your eyes, sorry, side of your eyes. So first here.
Yeah.
And here, side of the eye. Under your eye. And then here at where your necklace would fall. And then you grab your wrist, you take a deep breath, blow it out. You can say the word peace, or love, or joy, whatever word feels really nice to you. Right? You can also, while you're tapping, just say let it go, let it go, let it go.
And you're just doing it with one hand, or you
One
do
hand, both hands, either hand, doesn't matter. Doesn't
And
matter
this
which
is a firm or just
a nice pressure on yourself.
just a little bit of pressure?
So I'll explain how it all works and what the theory is of why this all works, but let's just do a test. So first, I was talking about how when you have a problem, you feel it, but we also do the same when we feel good, right? You think of something good, you feel it in your body too. So let's do that. Think of someone or a pet or anyone or anything that makes you feel really good, or something out in nature, whatever it is for you that gives you peace or joy. Do you have something? And just notice where you feel that in your body. When you think of that person, maybe thinking of a child. You notice what happens inside. So when you're grabbing your wrist, you can just grab your wrist right now. Take a deep breath. And take yourself to that peaceful place. You can say your word for it, whatever that place or person, peace or love, joy. Good. So when we're tapping, what we're doing is we're focusing on a problem, and the way it works is, well actually let me explain something, I'm kind of jumping all over the place already. So when we have a stress reaction, what is stress really? Do you have a definition of what stress is?
Anxiety, could be a lot of things. Something new, so a threat. I mean, you're walking, somebody scares you at night.
I'd say something you perceive as
fear.
Yeah, fear.
Exactly. Yeah. So definition for FasterEFT is stress is the body's reaction to perception. You perceive something and you're reacting like you're being attacked or something. And how does that happen? It's so simple. It's like here's your head with some eyes, and then let's say you're perceiving someone being really nasty to somebody else, a child or something. So you're looking at that. And here's your eye and your brain, and in here you see it, right? And then your organs start reacting. Your heart starts pumping faster. You may have throat constriction. Your kidneys will react in fear. Adrenals get going. Your lungs, the breathing changes. Your liver, they say liver is about anger, bile, and all of that. So all these organs start reacting when you're stressing out. You're seeing something, and there's a reaction in the body. And what we're doing when we're tapping, there's meridian points that run along, all along our bodies. And you know about acupuncture, I'm assuming, and all the points. And these meridians are connected to these organs. Also the energetic system, but they're connected. So these points, the one here, for example, is bladder, and you don't even have to really know what each point is.
This is what?
Bladder. This one's gallbladder. Stomach is under the eye. Sometimes if you have an upset stomach, you might also notice that when you touch here, it's also sore. It's interesting. I've noticed that for myself. And then here's kidneys. And then also you have all these meridians running down your hands, so when you're grabbing your wrist, you get a whole bunch of them. You have your heart, large intestine, small intestine, triple warmer, your body heat system, and all of this at once, so you're getting all of them. So what we're doing when we're tapping is you have this perception. Now this perception can also be in your mind. It's some memory from the past. It doesn't matter. Your body doesn't know whether it's really happening or not. If you think of something that's stressing you out, your body's reacting. it thinks it's real right now, but it's not. So that happens. Everything starts freaking out. And then when you're tapping, what you're doing is it's almost like a disconnect between your perception and the reaction in the body that happens. So in original EFT, the definition or why they think it all works, in EFT they say is a blockage in your energy system, and when you're tapping, you're releasing a block. With Fast EFT, our approach is totally different. We see this as a creation. You're creating in this moment your stress reaction based on whether it's memories or your current perception, although usually your current perception is based on your memory, something happened to you, why you perceive that to be stressful right now. Because somebody could see a person walk into a room, they're yelling and screaming and angry, and they just look at them like, I wonder what's going on. And another person could be totally reacting to that because they have different references, different memories about maybe they've had a lot of experience being yelled at as a kid or something. So this other person's like, wow, they're really struggling. They don't have that same. So the idea here is it's a creation. We're creating our stress reaction because if you think about it, the only thing real is now. This very moment we're sitting in this room, nothing's wrong. So if you are triggered in any way by something that runs in your mind, you're creating that in that very moment. So you're reproducing that here. All clear? Everything good?
Sort of like a mental block, right?
Well,
Lots
we
of
run
block.
these programs or memories or things, there's many reasons for that. It could be, there's core beliefs about ourselves, in more Buddhist perspective and everything about in meditative they say, you feel separate. And so you have this feeling like something's wrong with you. You just feel separate from source or something.
Brought it already along.
Brought it along. You had a bad day this morning, you just can't let go, it keeps running in your mind. But usually it runs like that because of certain belief we have about ourselves. Because if we didn't really have a belief or it didn't really mean anything to us, we just let it go. Just that happened, it doesn't matter.
So, okay, so faster EFT, is that like, okay, so you have a stress reaction, does that like override that reaction? You said it's creation, so you aren't really dispelling the stress that you're feeling, you're overriding it?
You're actually disconnecting. So what happens, and I'll show you, we can do it in a moment, I just wanted to share this part, is that you're actually, it's almost like, the way I look at it, Fast EFT works for two reasons. One is, when I'm tapping, it's like a reminder, I'm here right now. I'm physically here. It's very simple. Like I'm here. This is not, real. It's like bringing you back into your body. That's why I think this is just something I added to it. Like I really think that a lot of people have had that reaction to me. I've shared it like on an airplane with a lady next to me. I couldn't tell her anything. I just said, hey, you're stressed about the flight. Let me just show you. Focus on your stress, tap, and try to focus on it again. And it just dissipated. And she said, wow, it brings me back to the now. It's like, exactly. So that's one. And two is, as you're tapping on these meridian points, which are the communication channels to all these organs, it just breaks them up. It just kind of breaks it up, and you're...
That's a good way to I've never thought of it that way, that they're communication channels. Of course, information duh.
And it's mind-body connection, so I call myself a mind-body coach, because it's all about perception and then reaction. And this is why I say it works on anything. It doesn't matter if your problem is severe trauma abuse from your past, or it's yesterday somebody cut me off and I still can't let it go, they were so rude. It equally works because it's within a system that always works. It's you perceive something, and it could be out or internal, or so you perceive it and then you're reacting. So it's, whether it's out there or in here, you're doing the same thing to yourself. I also wanted to cover just a little bit about memories and how Fast EFT is used much more deeply with memories, and mention trauma and PTSD. It works really great. just erase this. So that makes sense, right? That it's a connection, and we're kind of breaking that up. I just wanted to share one piece with you that was a huge revelation for me, even though it's so simple when I first saw this. Here's a memory. Let's say this is a parent and a child. And the parent's really, let's say, hitting the child. So let's say if you have this memory. So, when you, let's say you have this memory, when you're playing this memory right now, you are a movie director, right? It's like a movie in your mind. And not everyone's very visual with their memories. Oftentimes when we hear memory, we think that memory is just a picture in movies. Memories can be emotions. Memories can be a sound. I mean, any which way you internally represent your past, or your memories can be future memories, your imagination future as well. It's just how are you internally doing things. Some people really aren't that visual, so they say, I can't remember anything. Well, if something happens and you have a strong emotional reaction, it's a form of a memory also. And that's, you can just look at that. But a lot of us do have picture memories of something happened. It's so real, it feels so real. So here you are, you have this memory, you're looking at it. You are the movie director, right? Who is the abuser? Who's the abuser in your memory?
Probably the parent.
Your parent's not here right now. So if you're remembering this, your parent's not here right now. Who is this now?
You?
It's you.
Really? You transfer it?
Well, this is you. Your parent's not here, they don't fit in your head. They're a picture or a movie in your mind. And you're reacting strongly. Is that... No? Well, think about it now. Let's say you did have this situation. Your father, let's say your father, right? He's not here at this moment. So if you're remembering this in this moment where nothing is real, except for this very moment, we're sitting here in this room, when you remember this, and you're recreating this in your mind in this very moment, it's an image, and you are this as well. He's not here. This is you internally representing your world and your perception of your reality. Does that make sense? And this is also you.
It's hard. It's hard to...
It's
You know
hard
what?
to wrap my mind around that.
Yeah. Even
So-
though they're not here, the memory, because I've been like healing and trying to go back, and there's a lot of memories, a lot of, trying to heal and peel, and so even though they're not here, I can remember, sitting in a corner with a dog. And
So, but when you see that, who's doing it to you now?
God, no one.
You are doing it to you now, because you are movie directing, playing this memory in your mind, and you're recreating this abusive, that feels real, as if it's really happening. And I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Right, right.
I'm not saying it was okay that it happened either.
Right,
It's
right.
just that now, when you replay it, and as we replay these memories, it becomes a form of self-abuse.
Right.
Because they're not here, and they're not doing it to you anymore. Does that
Yeah,
make sense? So
yeah.
you are doing it to you in this case, because if you think about it, you are watching a movie in your mind. You're being beaten again.
Right.
It's more like a movie producer than a
You are the
director.
movie producer and
Well,
creator.
yeah,
Well-
see, I'm a producer, but I don't
But what
see
hap-
me being the parent.
Well,
Yeah.
you be as in you right now.
I'm running the movie.
You
again.
are the
That's-
characters in your memories because they're not here. So who's doing it to who right now? You are using this image, this memory, this movie to abuse yourself. Not that you're doing it on purpose, but you're doing that based on these images and pictures. And it's hard to kind of say, wow, I'm doing this to myself. They did that to me.
Is this pretty much because you're reliving that emotion and inflicting that emotion every time you relive it? That's why is that pretty much why?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so it's if you want to take real responsibility for how you're emotionally reacting to your world in your past, they're not doing it to you anymore. So and there is a way to have this change, literally change, because you're no longer pulled by your attention and all these life experiences that this happened to me and this is why I am the way I am. It still is very much pointing the outward. Even though it's happening internally, it's still pointing like, they did this to me and therefore I am a victim and therefore I am doing the, this is why I am the way I am. And if you recognize that actually, I call it the architecture of your problem. How are you doing your problem? Not what is your problem, but how are you creating it? I create a movie in my mind where I see my father hurting me, and then I feel it. My father's not here. Who's doing it to me? I'm doing it to me. So this does become me, because I'm using this image. I'm using this memory, this to hurt me. Why do I do that? Because I have a belief about me that either whatever they are, and those beliefs will show up, whatever they are for you. For people, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I deserved it for whatever reason, or I didn't deserve it, I'm a victim and he's just mean all the time. Well, what kind of person would be mean to you all the time? So things like that show up. This is also you, right? The thing is, when you play this in your mind, and this could be any memory, good ones too, when you say, let's say it's a good one where you admire someone very much, and you look up to them all the time. They're not here in the room. You are projecting something about them that actually you possess, because you wouldn't be able to feel that about them if you didn't somehow internally represent that in yourself. So it goes both good and bad. You have both programs in you, because you're carrying both programs. You're carrying being the abused and being abused and the abuser. You have both, and oftentimes we do see that in our life. What is repressed in us and such is also something that might lash out and show up later. Basically, we might behave this way, not exactly maybe the same way. We carry both programs in us. So I just wanted to share that because FasterEFT is very much in the business of shifting this and changing this. Because what happens is you remember something like this, so let's do that right now. Remember a memory that bothers you. You have something, it could be yesterday, and something specific, something that you can really see, or you have something like that?
Yes. Yes.
Just pick one, because your mind might shift.
Yeah, like numerous. Yeah.
So just pick one.
Not all
just,
of them at the same time.
Just close your eyes.
This is only an hour long.
Yeah. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just pick that and just focus on it and notice where you feel it. Notice what you see. What you heard. And now just rate it for yourself, 0 to 10. 0, it doesn't bother you at all, and 10 being unbearable. Pick one that's high, and a memory that will be at least an 8, just to see if you can really see for yourself. Notice how you can make it stronger. Look at their facial expression. I'm assuming there's a person there with you in your memory. Look at their facial expression, or yours. You got it? You feel it? Okay. And now just tap between your eyes and only focus on the tapping. Just say, I release and let this go. Inside your eye, I release and let this go. And you can say it too. I release and let this go.
I release and let this go.
Inside of your eye. Really? Under your eyes. Collarbone. It's safe to let this go. Now grab your wrist, take a deep breath. Put it away. And think about your good positive person or thing or place that you had earlier. Remember that? Yeah. Okay. Say peace. Okay, now just check again right now. Just shake it off, let go of your wrist. Check that memory again and notice if it looks different in any way or feels different in any way. Is it your experience that it's lessened or changed? Anything about it at all? Could be.
Kind of fades.
Yeah, fading.
Yeah.
So just notice, is there anything negative left with it? So now tap again. Let it go. And now you're just focusing on tapping, not the memory itself. Just the tapping, letting it go. Just feel the tapping, let it go. Right. Color, let it go.
It's great.
Your wrist.
We don't stay long enough.
Might yawn. It's a sign of shifting too.
Is it? Because as you were saying, I was just going through
Yawning, burping, all kinds of bodily reactions are perfectly normal. It happens. So again, just notice your memory again. And what happens for me often when I do this by myself is I tend to, like a few rounds, I keep checking back. So the key is to pull yourself back, check that memory again. Your mind's going to shift and wander. Your mind's going to be like, I don't care about this anymore, or wants to run, doesn't want to deal with it. But just keep pulling yourself back. Can I feel it the same intensity? Can I see the same thing? So try again.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you just do
And notice
one
if it's
at a time.
lessened or how it's changed.
Having problems staying grounded or something like that. You could do the red one and just
Share your
concentrate on the
experience.
root.
Does
It's
anyone
not
feel
there.
it's not there? How do you see the memory now?
It's just dark, and then it's just dark. I don't see memory,
Did you see a vision beforehand or
Yeah.
just an emotion?
a vision.
A vision.
Now,
And now it's black.
Yeah, it's just
You're just
dark.
gone.
It's just calm.
now, the key with this is as simple as it gets. This is what you do with FasterEFT. It's very much about memories, changing especially ones that you feel impacted your life the most, things you wish would have never happened. All of these things you go to now, and that's why they're practitioners, so that you can go to some of them that you just don't feel, if you don't feel equipped to do them on your own, which everyone can do this on their own. Everybody's capable, it's just really up to you how much you want to go deep inside yourself. But that's basically the basics of it, is taking memories you wish would have never happened, and you notice within 2 rounds it already shifted. Now we would continue with it until it feels actually good. So how does it feel now? You said it just feels black.
Yeah, it's like nothing. Do you know what I mean? I lost my daughter, and I wanted to do that with her. You know, but this was an experience with my mother, and it happened this week, and it was fresh, and it was around self-worth, you know, and the grieving process. And not that I'm playing a victim, but she can be pretty cruel. So, you know how mothers are.
So what's really neat about this is you can go home and use this on anything. You can just say, my mother's cruel.
Right.
And then you say, how do I know that's true? So the key question is, how do I know that's true? I feel it
Yeah.
here. I see her face. She's always been cruel. I have all these memories of her always being cruel. And you just pick one thing that feels really true, and then you just tap.
Uh-huh.
And you tap through.
And what was the things that you were
Just
saying?
like we were doing now, just a few, and then the key is you use this and you do it in these rounds until it's gone. I mean, if you want to keep it, you can keep it. It's up to you.
You want to let it go.
But the idea is to let it go, and this is a very helpful way. That what I love about it is, you know, people have been able to let things go without doing anything, just sitting there in meditation, and it's difficult. And this actually gives you like a practical way that you feel like you're doing something, even though all you're really doing is you're facing and you're aiming inside, and you're really facing what's presenting itself.
It's hard to let it go, though.
Well, you
I
tell
mean,
yourself to
if-
let it go. You
Like, my memory is of somebody hurting me very deeply with his actions.
Okay.
And I've been struggling with that, and the hurt is still there.
Okay. So when did you tap on that? Is that what you were working on? And nothing changed at all? Or did it shift in any way?
It felt like the best way I can describe it is maybe there wasn't as much juice or emotion
So
in
just
it.
keep going. So how do you feel it now? How strong is it now? You heard
It's
me.
still there
Just notice where it is. You feel it?
in here.
Just notice what it's like. Notice what it really feels like.
It hurts.
And now just tap right now. And just feel it tapping. Let it go. Only focus on tapping. Side of your eye, letting it go. Here you are. Let it go. Collarbone. Release this hurt. You can even name it what you're releasing. Grab your wrist, deep breath. Really go to that happy place again. You're so joyful in this place. Do you have that? Person or something? Now let go and just check again. Is it the same? Exactly the same or different?
Okay, it just doesn't feel quite as intense as it did before, but it's still there.
So just keep going. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
And it'll lose its intensity.
And you the key here is persistence. Again, it's not a magic.
Right.
3 times you do this, it'll be gone.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be
Everybody's
nice?
different. Everybody's different. If you, when I was talking about how it's a creation, how do you learn how to drive a car?
Practice.
You practice. When you first learn how to drive a car, even putting the ignition in, like, am I doing it right? Am I turning it right? How am I shifting? Oh, wipers versus blinkers. I mean, you're really, unconscious, incompetent, right? They call it. Like, you're unconscious about it and you're incompetent. And then you start learning, you start getting a little better, and you start feeling, they say, then you're like unconsciously competent. Or no, consciously incompetent. So then you have it where you're consciously incompetent, right? You realize, okay, I have all this stuff to learn about driving a car. At least now I know all the things I have to learn, so you feel a little more confident, but you know you still are clueless. And then you start practicing. Practice. And then you become, what's the next thing? Unconsciously incompetent. There's this consciously incompetent. Then you become consciously competent, right? You realize, oh, I can drive a car. Wow, this is great. I'm good at this now. And then it becomes such second nature after 20 years of driving. You're eating a sandwich, you're on your phone.